it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive.
All right, what's up? What's going on, Ben?
We are in the house. Oh my gosh, it's been awesome. Took a little break, but man, coming in, new gears. Look out! Oh, wait a minute, I should do this. Wait, one, two, think.
Wait a minute.
Hey.
Did you cock that before you pointed it at me, sir? Did you cock that finger point?
Let me do this here. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Stop it! You might get us banned.
Good thing I don't live out in Pennsylvania, because that hand gestures could have been considered a aggressive and potential violent act of a hypothetical firearm.
Yeah, what's going on out there? What were we just discussing?
Oh my gosh!
Talk.
Oh my
Welcome
gosh.
everybody, by the way. Welcome everybody,
Yes,
all the
yes.
Patriots, the mods. I see Simone. I see Legacy
Watchful Warrior,
Truce.
Simone. Yes. Yeah, I'm in there.
Watchful,
Getting
what's
back
up?
on.
Watchful Warrior, great show. You guys get over there if you haven't already. Subscribe. We plan to have them on again, or go. We're gonna go on their show, whatever works. So
We were talking. Mike and I have been kind of really delving in pretty heavy in garage talk in the way of propaganda. I mean, we say it a lot, and it's something that we all kind of fling around like it's water. But it was interesting. This is something that the Patriot Hour and Mike has covered in depth before. I would say probably about a good 6 to 8 months ago, where we were going over who really controls the media, and we've heard President Trump, our commander-in-chief, say it numerous times: fake media, fake media, fake media. And we're kind of getting used to the fact that, okay, yeah, maybe that's possibly true. But we were delving on really the corporations who actually own all media outlets. And this is across the earth, people. So I think, Mike, it was like, what, 5 or 6 major corporate entities own, through spider webbing of companies, shell companies, sister companies, corporate LLCs.
Well, what sparked this morning, by the way, folks, to give you a little backstory, was late last night I found myself watching a documentary. Came out in 2012. I'll get the name of it for you here in a minute, but I'll get this out. I had brought up to Ben, like, man, you can systematically, this documentary put it in pretty good order. It had like Julian Assange in it. The one lady from Democracy Now!, she's well known. A lot of well-known people took part in this, and they broke down this systematic storyline from starting with Ronald Reagan. He did some stuff with the media and regulated and kind of brought it back. I don't know if it was a positive thing they were trying to show, or it was kind of the start of it all. But the way he did some things, it allowed for more of what we, capitalism to take control, which for this instant, we know that the big tigers are going to come in. So that was the first start of it. And then it went into Clinton, 1996. He signed some stuff with the FCC. And then you go into Bush. He did some more stuff. Head of the FCC at that time was Cheney, was well known, or not Cheney.
Very well known.
Colin Powell. My bad. Colin Powell.
Okay. I thought it was okay. So Cheney. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
And it was his son, Michael Powell. All right. Michael Powell was ahead of the FCC. And they were getting ready to do this final kind of straw to just open it up. And we knew, and early, to back it up a hair, after what Clinton did, we saw the merger of AOL and Time Warner. We saw the mergers of NBC or ABC with Disney. We saw Viacom team up with NBC. So we saw GE. They and there was crimes coming out against GE for failing to to take millions of dollar bid for government contracts to build missiles that never flew, couldn't even get off the ground. They had all these reasons to not really be in existence, and poor business deals and screwing people over, but taking the money, and it all went away with these mergers. So basically, you can see the systematic decline of our media. If you go back to the beginning of time, Timeless Pain, this was the whole point of the media, was to be like the average citizen, but be even a little bit more alert, because they knew the average citizen wouldn't be in tune. I mean, it's a sad day in hell. We know that right now that more people are in tune with some of these actresses and actors, their divorces, who they're dating now, who their kids are separated, and the last movies coming out, than the crimes that are being committed within DC and the areas surrounding it, and everywhere. So that's a sad state of affairs. That's what they report on: the trivial, the amusement, the sentimental,
bread and circus, of course.
Yes. So
well,
now,
and
why would they do that, Ben? I'll put that question to you before you take over. Why? How important is it? Like, if you were being charged with a crime, that isn't it great if you can get ahead of the media, get out there with your own corporation company? And it would be weird if you were the reporter and then turning around and asking your own questions and asking the right. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, this guy is a crazy nut that he owns the thing that's being charged with a crime, and he's a reporter." So they don't do it that way, do they? How do they do it?
No, I mean, you would think as somebody on the outside watching the elevation time presidents or presidency, you would see that, oh, well, what they're trying to do was what we've said many times. They're trying to cultivate or foster a narrative that the masses that don't question, that run the rat race, go on the rabbit wheel, whatever you want to call it, actually will hold on to that, and they have something to hold on to as their truth to stand on, because everybody's saying it. And that is a slow decline of critical thinking, of looking at more sources than one, when they even tell you, oh, they just got mergers, this and that. So I would take that as an outsider looking in. I was like, man, what's going on here? Why is it they're saying worse, vulgar language more? They're showing more sex scenes more. And it's almost like they're diluting our critical thinking. And this is like step one for fascism. And we talked about, what is the far extreme side of capitalism? Well, that's fascism. That's where the corporations run and dictate a rule of law, when that should be dictated by we the people. And a lot of these things you see happening right now with these different movements. Like, we're Antifa. Well, Antifa is short for anti-fascism. True. Okay. That's a great logo, but who's funding them? Oh, big corporations are not doing it right. So they're taking the narrative, what is good, and turning it to what is bad. And they're taking what is bad and was deceiving you into what is good. And we see this all the time. I mean, so this progress is just brainwashing them, basically, on a massive level.
It's the old adage of, if you can control, like, if there's something wrong, like, folks, take it to your social media. Most people that on social media, they're not gonna, they don't like to highlight their bad part of their life. They right, Ben? They kind of highlight the good parts.
They never do that. Yeah, you don't see this first person in the pictures they take. It's the best size, it's the best angle, the best making sure the light's really there. If you got somebody who's maybe weight conscious, they're not going to take a picture of the whole body, just the face and certain lights.
So they direct the narrative of what people know about them. People try to. So as simple as that is, and folks, don't take that to be malicious. Who wouldn't? All right, nobody's going to highlight the garbage of their life. Now, we got those people. I on my social medias throughout the years, you always have the one person that will highlight, like, the world's out to get them. Why me? This happened today. I can't catch a break. We get it. That's just, they're wanting a little bit of support, a little bit of rallying. Some people want more of that than others. We know who those people are. We're not talking about that. And it's not so devious that you are painting and highlighting. That's what social media is. I'm going to post 5 times a day, and you're not going to post your worst moments of your life. You're going to probably post.
Even listen to what the creators of these social media icons tell us. this has been a detriment to our socialization of communication. People are now only seeing the very best of other people, and they thinking that your every moment of your life is beautiful and your own life is crap because you've got bills and you've got problems. But these people on this, and there's filters now, so you have a bunch of zits and your eyes all messed up and
Yeah.
lazy, and you got
Folks,
you look like you got one of these mugs. You can make it look prettier. You know what I'm
Even
saying?
in the age of high definition, I mean, look at our setup I created in 15 minutes here today. I was like, man, there's some new stuff I found on the software,
baby.
and boom, we got flipping logos for the
It's
Patriots down
awesome
below.
for you guys. Yes.
So a little bit of eye candy, right? Is as high def and 1080p as this is, and
Very
the news
gooey.
and all that, it's not. The news comes in very filtered and very fuzzy and misconstrued because it's the owners. There's 5. So that was a whole shocking thing in this documentary, that in the 90s, I mean, even with the Oklahoma that we went through this past week, folks, there's so much there for you to get out of that. And one of it was the early reporting was a really big threat to the deep state, and that was the truth was coming out by these locally owned, good, investigative journalists
There was no
listening to the
censorship
people.
coming out.
If you got a camera and a microphone and you're down at some scene and the people that were there are screaming something, that's why there's ex-FBI people that left that were disgraced with that. They're like, there was like 28 people that said there was 2 people in the van. It was totally ignored. It came out in the media at first. They're looking for 2 people. And then 2 days later, that vanished. And it kind of like, nope, they got the guy. It was just this lone wolf, radicalized white man. And that was pissed at the service, and his whole family's like, no, we got letters here, and nobody would listen to the family. Well, what do they know? They were just as he wrote to them.
They're just family members.
What do they mean?
It's interesting. Even with this documentary, it sparked off another little side trail that was just something to know that before we base all of our news off of the technology we have now, but back in the day when something would happen in Congress and they didn't have technology, they had people, couriers going from town square to town square, basically proclaiming, which would be speaking at a loud tone to all to hear. They actually were held at a very, very high standards of law. They could not lie, almost by penalty of death, because the First Amendment, which we talked about, not only was for each individual for freedom of speech, but more importantly was freedom of the press. And so we were talking, and maybe you can elaborate on this. I got to do a little something to where the law that the courier of the news from Congress and our government to stateside was held at a much higher legal standard because of the information he was carrying out to the people. And it was interesting because these are the people that are not held to the same standard today. And it has to do with the Smith-Mundt Act that was signed in 1948, and then Obama did it and amended it in 2013. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Mike?
Exactly. What does that have exactly to do with the Smith-Mundt Act again? Reiterate that.
Where
to the people.
our own government could basically propagandize and basically
during periods of war. Typically,
during periods of war times, they can basically disseminate disinformation to domestically rather than foreign. And we've said we've been in time of war since 9/11. We're at war on drugs, war on terror, war. I mean, we're at war on all different fronts. So it's pretty interesting.
All right. Well, Ben's gonna step out for a minute. He'll be right back with us, folks. So what we're getting into there, simply put, is even at the end of all this, when things get into the courts, things get possibly even a little bit addressed. All right, that's what we're asking for: some justice, a little bit of addressing the issue. That the media will come out and say that the ones being controlled by the CIA and those arms of the alphabetical agencies that are in control, that they had a right to. We're in wartime, and you need to be able to send out false information to the enemy that is watching your media. So therefore, the good old citizens got caught up in the war on terror or whatever. So some say that we've been at war since the 40s, and this has been enacted, or with the 9/11 and the Patriot Act, and and the war on terror, which really went worldwide. There is no boundaries. That's why that was a great forever war to get into. War on terror. Where? Everywhere. You know, so that's how that works. You guys know this. All right. We are actually recording for the Patriot Hour. We'll be going. This video will be put up over there as well. Talk to a few of the, let me see here. EO2 Dave, media overhaul is needed. I agree. Couldn't agree much more. I mean, that's Watchful Warrior, great idea at the Patriot Tech. A little behind here. All right, so what you're looking at here is a merger here. What I'm using, it pulls in all kinds of the comments you'll see down below, and the highlighted are randomly done. In between the picture to the message, you'll see either a Twitter or YouTube. Simple. Whoa, what did I just read there? Media won't change unless they're shut down. Exactly. There's a lot of them that are going to go down with the ship. They decided long ago they're actually owned by these people that are going to go down. So at no point will they. And it's been a lot more covert for all the years, folks. All right. I mean, they'd let little things come out on themselves or some of the players within their ranks. They had to. But at this point, you see the total blank, like on CNN, they're not reporting on anything on the other side. So, all right, we also have, we had, if you saw here in the message in that Comey, that they have found that he is, let me do this. So, all right, so right here, Comey violated FBI policy in handling of the memos. Ugh. Oh, thank you. Comey violated policy in handling of the memos detailing interactions with Trump. IG found. This just got released at like 8 o'clock this morning. So Washington, former FBI Director James Comey violated FBI policies in how he handled the memos that detailed his controversial interactions with President Donald Trump. The Justice Department Inspector General found in a report released on Thursday, both in engineering their release to the press and storing them at his home without telling the FBI. So the Inspector General found the memos, which described, among other things, how Trump had pressed Comey for loyalty and asked him about letting go an investigation into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, were official records, and such Comey's treatment of them broke the rules. The former FBI director gave one of the memos, which included information on the Inspector General called sensitive but unclassified, to a friend and authorized him to share its contents. He also stored 4 documents in a safe in his personal home and provided copies to his personal attorneys without FBI authorization, the Inspector General found. So now Comey, if you remember, he came out on this. He goes, "Oh no, I don't find that leaking. Not in my terms, not in my head, not the way I look at it. Oh, of course not. Of course not, Comey. This is a kind of crazy crap we got to hear out of this guy. I didn't find it that way. I didn't see it that way. There could be a room of 400 people, and everyone hears him say something, and then well, I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry all 400 of you took it that way. That's this guy. That's Comey. He's going down, and he knows it. He knows it, guys. So, he denies it. One of those memos was later determined to contain information such as the names of foreign countries being discussed by Trump. That was classified as confidential, the lowest level of secrecy, the Inspector General wrote. So on Twitter, Comey noted that the Inspector General found no evidence that he or his attorneys released any classified information to the media. I don't need a public apology for those who defame me, but a quick message with a sorry we lied about you would be nice, he wrote. And to all those who spent 2 years talking about me going to jail or being a liar and leaker, ask yourself, why you still trust people who gave you bad info for so long, including the president? The Inspector General wrote that the office gave its findings to the Justice Department to determine if Comey had committed a crime, and officials declined to prosecute the case. The report was given to the FBI and the Justice Department's Office of Professional Responsibility, the Inspector General wrote. So he wants an apology because he didn't get charged, but they did find that he had crimes. Interesting. This guy is classic nutbag material. Unbelievable. All right, let me see here. I think Ben's coming back. Now, we broke in with this story. PA Superior Court pointing a gun at someone, maybe a gun, of course, but this was a finger. So this story isn't the right one. Let's see here. Oh, right. We got Ben back
in it to win it. Yes, that was crazy. Yeah, I mean, you figure just a gesture of your hands can get you put into jail. It's like, I think a gesture of like flipping off somebody with a bird, assault fingers. This is crazy. So if I point at you, you could consider that a blowgun. This is a blowgun. This is a real gun. This is a stop. No, don't shoot. What are we coming to now?
Yeah, I can't find the article. It's so fresh and new, but a guy got found guilty because he pointed his finger like a gun. And now I'm pulling up articles where all around the school, people, schools have suspended kids. It looks like boy points finger like gun, gets suspended. So I mean, it's been going on.
And here's the thing, we have boys, as children, and it's like, before they even went to school, before they even got quote unquote bullied, my boy was chewing a cookie and it looked like a gun. And they started playing guns at 2 years old, dipping it in milk. I mean, it's like, are you serious? It's like, this is the cowboys and Indians. Is that all bad now? Cops and robbers, This is just, it's crazy. It's crazy the fact that, this is what we were talking about even at the beginning of this, where they have this desensitization. These few companies own the media and they start pushing this. It's not logical. It's all about emotions. You got to protect them. We have to live in a bubble. Your kids can't, you can't get hurt. It was, I think my boys are watching a movie and the dog was talking and it says, I bit a cord once and it shocked me and almost killed me. And the other dog asked him, well, how many times you do that? He's like, once. I only did it once. It's like, we need some more of that, in our civilization, and toughen up these people.
So right here, I had just read this while you were gone. It's a Comey violated FBI policy in handling of the memos detailing interactions with Trump. The IG finds. So this just came out at like 8 o'clock this morning. So former FBI Director James Comey violated FBI policies in how he handled the memos that detailed his conversations with the interactions with President Trump, the Justice Department Inspector General found in a report released on Thursday, both in engineering their release to the press and how he stored them at his home without telling the FBI. Now, the Inspector General found that the memos, which described, among other things, how Trump had pressed Comey for loyalty and asked him about letting go the investigation and trying to find his way free of Michael Flynn, were official records, and as such, Comey's treatment of them broke the rules. The FBI, the former FBI director, gave one of the memos, which included information about the Inspector General that they called sensitive but unclassified, to a friend, and authorized him to share its contents. He also stored 4 of the documents in a safe and as his personal home, and provided copies to his personal attorneys without FBI authorization, the Inspector General found. One of those memos, which later determined to be contained information such as names of foreign countries being discussed by Trump, but was classified confidential. It's the lowest form, the lowest level of secrecy, the Inspector General wrote. So on Twitter, Comey took to and noted that he said that the Inspector General found no evidence that he or his attorney released any classified information to the media. I don't need a public apology for those who defame me, but a quick message with a "sorry, we lied about you" would be nice, he wrote. And to all those who spent 2 years talking about me going to jail or being a liar and leaker, ask yourself why you still must trust people who gave you bad info for so long, including the president. The Inspector General wrote that the office gave its findings to the Justice Department to determine if Comey had committed a crime, and the officials over there declined to prosecute the case. So the report was given to the FBI and the inspector. So that's what we do know, is that they were not going to be prosecuting.
So that doesn't mean that there was a case. They just declined to seek prosecutions on crimes committed. See, that's the thing. It's like, well, we don't have to seek prosecution.
Yes. Well, when he sat up there, even with Anderson Cooper that time, where CNN did that town hall 3, 4, 5 months ago, and Comey sitting up there, and Anderson's like, so that, you talk about leakers, now you're a leaker. Why didn't you get in trouble? And he was like, well, Anderson, I think we disagree on what a leaker is. I'm not a leaker. And he was like, no, let me finish. He got really upset with Anderson Cooper.
He really wanted to be heard, and he really wanted to be understood. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He'll sit there and describe what a leaker is, and he fits that. And then 400 people are like, yeah, that's what you did. Now, all 401 of you just happen to be wrong from what I know it to be. And that's fine that he can sit there, and that's how a lot of people are.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's
public opinion matters, buddy.
Yes, it does.
In a court of trial by jury, especially. All right, so.
And if we're going by the rule of law here, it's like this is this isn't a perception thing. That's why the law is in black and white.
We can't just go over that Comey thing, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's not getting prosecuted. Why?" Well, no red pill I found.
Ooh, nice.
That's the whole thing, folks. Is maybe there is a bigger part of this. Maybe somebody had put that. I don't know. Maybe, this is where we said at the end of all this, we'll find out who were really good. People that were hated all along were really with the president the whole time, but their job was to
the players involved,
they've given other names, what their roles, other things happening behind the scene. I don't know. But for him not going down for all this, it seems a little odd. Unless he's
and this isn't the first time we've seen this pattern of high-profile individuals, Clinton, do crimes, and they choose not to pursue any type of charges. Even though there's a case there, crimes were committed, but they just choose not to pursue those because of
is there something bigger they got him on? Like, this is the least. Because think about it. This is like a non-classified. I mean, this would probably be like a 5-year thing. So
yeah. It's a slap on the wrist, Oops, I didn't know.
And it's like, maybe there's bigger crimes, or he's a bigger part of the picture. We'll find out. I mean, that's all we can really say on that. Why didn't he go down for this thing here? What else do they have?
We know the 80-20 rule. We keep on having to remind ourselves that we're only privy to 20% of the information, and we're trying hard to sift through that 20% to see what is the truth and how much that 20%'s been diluted with lies. We know that Epstein. We talked about this. That's out of the news. Nobody's talking about it. No more human trafficking, pedophilia. That's kind of been real quiet now. But then Pizzagate, that was true. Epstein, well, he's dead. It's the ultimate justice.
Well, there's lots of different forms of justice, is what we were talking about in Garage Talk.
Exactly.
And we're like, well, what's in one person's eyes isn't in the next. It's like we took it back to Jeffrey Dahmer. He hurt and killed a lot of people, and then we believe that he got a couple, 200 life sentence or 3 consecutive life sentences, 5, whatever that crap is. We know he was already 30, 40 years old. He was only going to get 40 years. 50 years, at the most. Didn't get the death penalty because they didn't have it or whatever for Wisconsin. But yet he gets killed in prison pretty quickly. And now some people can take that to be, he didn't get to serve. He needed to sit there every day and think about what he did. He got his life taken quickly. It didn't last long. Somebody broke a broomstick off in him. I mean, he died. That was justice, vigilante justice, right? The people serving
in prison. That was mob justice. Yes.
There you go, mob justice. Same with Epstein, all right? He hung, whether he hung himself or he was hung by somebody else or he's really not dead, whatever. Like I said, it doesn't matter. He is dead to us as we know it because of the fact that that's what the media put out. That's what the handlers wanted.
That's the mainstream. Yep.
And that has to be stuck. Just like for 9/11. Don't believe it? Don't have to. There's a mainstream version. If you go away from that, you're deemed something else. And there's the mainstream. Stick with it. That's what they give you. And I'm not saying they believe it. I'm just saying he's dead to us because we'll never hear from him again. So
exactly. I mean, in some of these things, it's like it does. You're right. It paints a bigger picture. With the Epstein thing, is we have the servers, we have the footage, we have the evidence, we have that can keep on continuing. And he hung. Want him to hang for his crime.
Most people probably like, he needs to be hung for his death. That's what they're asking for everybody. Every one of these traitors that
Clinton, Obama, all these.
I don't think we really do hangings anymore. We do, we have different methods, but that's what people are saying. They need to hang. He did. There's one of them that hung. Well, he didn't get judged. So some people want them to go to court, go through all the proceedings, get everything they can out of them, get sentenced to something, possible death row, and then be put to death. And that's the best way. Other people disagree. Like, no, he needs to be hung quick. That's what happened. I'm not saying this was a complete justice, but the end result was this is what people wanted, him to be dead. Now, supposedly, possibly he is.
And we're putting forth a comparative light. This is different forms of justice, and ultimately,
people being not allowed in those offices anymore too. Like Comey is like, he was a bad person, he needed to go. That was one thing, and there might be two things you want. Like, I want them to be fired, get out of their positions. Secondly, they should be held accountable. We're seeing 50% of it with a lot of people so far. So we're waiting on this justice. And again, I do not know all the players' involvement. We can come to find out at the end. Comey will be on TV going on these talk shows and they're like, so you were part of it the whole time, right? And it's like, yeah. It's like, you played a really good role. Well, it was hard. Now, how was that for you and your family? Well, it got pretty bad for about 2 years. I took a lot of abuse on the social media.
In my new book, it really, chapter 4 talks about all that my family went through. I mean, you're right.
And I'm not saying that's the case for Comey. It's just an example. Apply it to any one of these players that seem, haven't some of these people seem so off to you, Ben? Just like off their rocker, not making sense. And people will.
And it comes across as everybody else is like, yeah, that sounds right. And you're looking around are you guys? I'm about a bunch of crazy people. Are you serious? Yes, and that comes off as normality. And the problem is most people will take that because it's a lie. It's told over and over, very loudly, very clearly,
repeated often. What happens when you repeat loud and repeat often?
It becomes the mainstream truth. And this is something that we love to champion always about. Look at one of the main reasons why that Mike has put so much time in and the team at the Patriot Hour and even the Patriot Tech, this backup channel of ours, is the fact that we know that there's more than what they're telling us. And therefore, I don't want to live life under the guise of a lie, because then what's the point? Where's our logos? Where's our foundation of truth? As parents, you want to give your children the best upbringing and the truth and the morals and values that you all the good that you have in you want to instill in your children. Well, it's almost like we ask the government to be very small and only do foreign transactions for us. The states can take care of ourselves. But what's happening is we have given up, and all of us as a whole has given up our freedom to be able to truly be Americans. And what's happening is the corporations, the big five, has been taken over. And so pushing through, we've seen the death of cable TV. We've literally seen the death of cable TV because now the internet is now the fastest means of getting truth or news in your home or in your business, faster than cable, faster than the mainstream news, because a lot of people like Mike, myself, Woodman, we have a lot of people who are constantly digging in, seeing these, debunking them, basically doing what the news channel crews are doing, but we don't have a little individual above us who writes our paycheck and says, if you say these few words in this string, you're not going to work here no more.
My condition doesn't allow me to have people telling me what to do.
We have real authority issues around
real
here.
authority issues. We ain't got no hand up my back, so to say, folks. Ventriloquist or whatever. I'm just over here as a puppet. Doesn't happen over at the Patriot Hour. Never will. Again, our agenda is simple since day one, was to promote freedom, truth. Don't ever take what we say here to be 100% word, truth, fact, spoon-fed. The days of auto-truth are over, are dead, folks, all right? The mainstream media spoon-feeding you because if it was set up simpler, me and Ben were saying it, you wouldn't believe it. If you had 3 people in front of you and one guy did something to you and then he was going to be the judge, he was going to be the person that ran the media, you'd be like, no, that can't be. He can't judge me. He's invested
I'm definitely
in
screwed.
He
knows me. Yeah.
So on the media side, these people own things. And even though you don't see the owner, because they really stay behind the veil. I mean, you kind of know some of these owners, they want to be, there's certain Bill Gates, and again, these are maybe just the shills anyway. You look at Mark Zucker. I mean, they're, maybe just a poster child for the whole operation, all right? Or
I mean, they get to a certain level. We talked about, millionaires want to rub up with billionaires. Yeah. Billionaires are the middlemen between the trillionaires and the millionaires. And the trillionaires, you don't ever hear about trillionaires. They're pictures. You don't know who they are, what they do, what they own. Why? There's a reason why the trillionaires stay out of the limelight.
Yes,
because they run stuff.
The veil.
That's it. I mean, it's the Wizard of Oz. So look at the big flashy guy up front. Look at the whole Hollywood production. These guys, so and so. I've made $200 million. Who he's wealthy? Nah. That's chump change. He's just part of the bread and circus. And so that's something that we always love getting into, because the bottom line is we see that the disinformation is heavy, and if we can do our own research, just look at these different comments you guys are saying, these different articles we're looking into. A lot of this is mainstream, but if you know how to read it and get into it and see what they're not saying and what they're saying and going through it, it's crazy. It's like the South Bend, Indiana mayor, this booty jiggy. Some of this stuff is crazy, what he's trying to pull with this old ID cards. And this probably is not the first mayor who's attempted this game plan.
Can you hear it?
Let's call him.
Listen, you're need an ID. If they answer, ask if they're open.
All right.
Got raided by the FBI.
All right. I'll talk.
I'll turn the music down.
Hello, this is a bilingual message. Gracias por llamar a la casa de amistad. En este momento no puedo contestar su llamada porque estoy lejos de mi escritorio.
Número 2, por favor.
Mis horas de oficina regulares son de lunes a jueves de 9 de la mañana a 6
Inglés.
de la tarde. Cerramos de 12 a 1 para el almuerzo. Por favor, deje un breve mensaje con su nombre y número de teléfono y nos pondremos en contacto con usted lo más pronto posible. Gracias. Thank you for calling La Casa de Amistad. At this time, I cannot come to the phone. I am either away from my desk or you have called after business hours. Our regular business hours are Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We do close from 12 to 1 for lunch. Please leave a brief message with your name and number, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Now you can hang up.
I need ID.
Hello. We have to put for ID. I called in and nobody was answering the phone.
No comprehende.
Hey,
All right, so looks like they're out to lunch. I don't know. Did they say what time they opened? Did I miss that?
we did call during business hours. She's just away from the desk.
And was it 8 a.m. that they opened?
8 a.m. to 4 or 5 p.m. and
we called
it's
after
definitely
8. I called after 8, but they didn't. That was the same thing we got earlier. Those of you here earlier.
Well, what Mike was doing is one of the main disinformation tools that a lot of mayors are doing now, and not just the one at South Bend, Indiana, but they're all over California. What they're doing is they're issuing city IDs, so that basically what illegal aliens, illegals, non-Americans, can actually obtain services like electric, gas, water. And so once you start having those, you got to have some form of ID, because the local public utility company is not going to take some unless you have an ID. And then once you get a public utility, right, once you get, you can start getting other IDs, like we just need a letter or something that proves you're a resident, like maybe electric bill you bring into the DMV,
Which is hard to get sometimes.
Which is hard to get unless you have proof that you can have that. So this mayor was basically issuing city IDs, because he has control for city, not for the county. Not only
that, he put an executive order into the city folks to mandate that a lot of these utility companies would honor the ID. So he worked with the police, the fire department, so on and so forth. I mean, that's all they label, dude. I mean,
exactly.
It's
crazy. So he's having these IDs, and so now what's happening is now they're getting illegal, non-American, illegal criminals are now getting state services, and because of the city, they're probably getting city discounts. And God only knows how this is happening. Sanctuary city after sanctuary city. So this even gets into the voting. When they have the voting in the city limits, do these IDs get you able to vote in the city limits? And if so, don't you think if he can't make presidency, because that booty jiggy guy, he ain't gonna make it. He nothing. He's a beta male. He can't handle our commander in chief. Yeah. He'll crumble. So he'll probably want to run for another thing, a mayor. Well, who's his base? He's doing on a micro level what these crazies in the left and these socialists are doing on a macro level. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's.
That is, I agree, folks. It's
Mr. X says even Bigfoot can get an ID. This Danuda, this is why you need a star on your ID. Yeah, and they're bringing that's true, so you can be fully vetted and you have a birth certificate, and these real IDs are going across nationwide on a federal level. This is crazy, Dwayne Newman, Trump should send the army to the voting polls. At one point in time, they had the reservist, the National Guard would come over and help actually run the voting areas way back in the early times, because it was just one of their civil duties as a National Guardsman was to run the voter ID. It's just like military police and the military facilities. They work hand in hand with the local police officers right outside their base, Yes, Darren Carson, thanks all at Patriots. Yes, you guys are awesome. Gorillin, what's up?
Gorillin.
Hey, Patty Bly says President Trump should have ICE agents at voting polls. Watch the illegals then. Hey, I'm telling you, that's a great idea. We need to get some more ICE agents. I know their whole agency is overrun nationally and definitely at the South. Oh yeah, that's the issue with 62. Born to run, voter ID required. I agree with you, and that's the thing we're talking about. It says voter ID, but they like the ubiquitous ID label rather than a you need to have an ID that you have to show a birth certificate, social security number to even gain this particular ID, like a lot of the state's IDs and the real IDs.
Yeah. Right here, Kelly Dunn, drain the derp state. And then
derp,
down below,
I meant-
yes, I mean derp state. So elaborate for us, Kelly Dunn.
DERP, is it the Deep Republic State or just the Deep?
Yeah. President Trump should have ICE agents at the voting polls. Watch the illegals then. Platty Blythe.
The Deeper State.
The deeper state. Was that what she said?
I don't know. I'm just reading them off. Marty 69. If I were younger and in better shape, I'd apply for to be an ICE agent. I'm telling you what, very honorable. You're serving your country.
Patriots unite, America and our patriot family. Amen.
Kelly Dunn, require work boots for voter poll entry.
If I was younger, yeah, I'd join the army. Dwayne Newman or Donnie Newman. Yes, they said that every last one, the last ones with the puppies. Do we really have a president? Uh-oh.
Awakenings and new beginnings. Do we really have a president? We do. He is the CEO of the U.S.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Organic
so
Act of
what you think?
1871 declared that they have a CEO and / what we call president. Patriot, we'll never get a RFID in my body. Hey, but you'd be surprised what you're carrying around with. Mike and I always do those metal lined wallets.
I think that's been bypassed with the smartphones and all the other technology folks.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I think that was a whole misconception is RFID. So now everyone's looking that way, and then they give us the phones that have everything tracking in it. And now everyone's got one in your pocket.
Yeah. By the way, RFID is like 1940s technology.
You
by the
can
way,
get rid of that. It's like you can get rid of your phone, but most people won't.
You can, smart
Even
TV,
when there's no cell phone towers left, it could be Armageddon type thing. They'll be out there trying to plug them in and just look at them.
I got charged, man. I got charged.
I got messages I didn't read yet.
I still got 2 iTunes download I can listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. It's interesting, man. It's we make light and we make joke of some things that it is funny because the cell phone things, and we've seen that the slave of technology. Mike and I, we're always tell everybody we come across, hey, prepare, have a little bit of stuff on hand, know your surroundings, and don't rely on your technology. And
Yes.
and you know what? But use it as a tool, because it is, man. It's a tool. Everything you have are tools. You can take a hammer and you can bash somebody's head in, or you can build a house that raises many people that have many heads.
You can get your baseball bat out and go, hit some, home run derby,
Grand
or
slammers
you
and-
can grand slam someone over the head. The choice is yours. You don't need,
Yes.
make the right one. We're not promoting any violence. The options are always there. They always have been there, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the worst things I ever seen in my life were and all the bad things I learned was on the school playground as a kid. That's where
Everything
I
you
learned
need
a
to
lot of
know, you
things.
learn in kindergarten.
It was taught by other kids. All right.
No, but this is the beauty of it, man. I mean, I think talking about it, getting out in the open, being able to say hypotheses and possible, conspiracy and connect dots without retribution of going too far in one area or another, because this is how you have to maybe be a little bit offended when you communicate, or you have to be open-minded enough to have communication, because if there is no offense or disagreement, there is no communication and there is no understanding. I mean, if you're exactly a robot and I have to call you by whatever name you want me to call you, and I can't say certain things, or I can't move or act a certain way around you because you'll get offended, then there's no way you'll ever understand anything deeper than your own personal narcissistic activities that you do to fulfill your needs and your feelings. I mean, it's good to be, said that what you think is wrong. Why? Because then it causes you to go see if it's true. And if it's not, then you stand on your laurels. If it is, eat humble pie and keep on searching. I mean that's for both Mike and I and Woodman, a lot of the guys here at the Patriot Hour. I mean, this whole last year and a half has been a huge learning curve on a lot of us, because we're putting together eddies and other conspiracies that we've been over for years and years and put back on the shelf and never came out, and now we're trying to mash them together. And it's with your guys' help, and it's just exciting. I mean, it really is. And so even what we're talking about in Garage Talk with this propaganda, that whole word, knowing what's going on. I mean, it's things are happening at a huge level, and they are happening, and we think, oh, nothing's really happening. Our president defunded for the first time in history Planned Parenthood. I mean, the border walls going up. I mean, we could sit here for the next hour spouting all the cool things that this only president ever, not any other president has done.
Justice,
and
I would say justice comes in many different forms to many different people. Okay. Follow any court case. There's going to be some people that want this, and this to happen, and that has to be met for their criteria, where others only want these two things. Look, the bottom line is Trump came in. He's been talking. If you go back before he won, before the election in 2016 November, he talked about all these things. And draining of the swamp was one of them. And boy, oh boy, has that been happening, folks. He had the right as president, when you come in and you find the heads of any of these alphabetical agencies to be corrupt, to have done things that violate laws, you can shut them down. You can shut them down and operate without. You start operating in elevated modes. You're allowed to get certain teams together to look into things and get inside people everywhere and get one person from each of these corrupted areas to be working with you and to entice them to work for you. And maybe that's what Comey was. I'm just saying, we don't know the full end game, but the bottom line is the swamp has been getting drained. There's been 50 some people removed from these agencies, the heads of the CIA or the NSA, FBI, DOJ. A lot of people left on their own behalf the minute Trump won, because they knew
that
the
was
game
quiet.
Was over. They knew the game was over. These are
they knew
behind the scenes people in the NSA. They're like, uh-oh, we're done for, and walking away, or the other agencies. That's why you had Brennan and all these people step down, and they went on this campaign hoping that they can get enough on Trump to get him impeached just by fake news. They're trying to. They put everything they had into spreading this lie, and it was so overly cooked that it didn't. And of course, the right people are in place, so it didn't pan out for them. It was just a lot of noise. Everything they did, they projected. That's very powerful. At the end of all this, there will be some people that will have been so brainwashed that they refuse to look at the facts, and they'll be like, I don't care what they say. Just like Comey's all wanting an apology when he really did. Ben read it. We read it twice.
Yeah,
he broke the law. They found him to have done things that you leaked. You're a leaker. No, I'm not. Did I get charged? Okay, did Trump get charged with the Russia thing that you helped promote the whole 2 years? They came out and said they didn't find nothing on him. Well, I still in my gut tells me that there's something there. So,
I feel.
Well, we feel that you leaked, and it's right here. No, I didn't get charged. Well, neither did Trump. Well, I feel. See, this is this vicious circle with this guy. I can't stand him. Can't stand ya.
My deception radar is off the chart these days. I'm so sensitive to lies and deceiving. Even you go to the local store and they try to say something really quickly to make you go away. Like, hold on now, I like the language here. And what were you saying? It's like you can't just brush people off and that kind of stuff. And I think words mean things. That's very true, but they don't, the old adage of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. That's only for us older generation cats. Call me what you want. Do what you want to do. I want the truth of things. I'm not going to freak out because you're pointing a finger at me. Oh, he's got a gun. He's going to threaten me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Maybe you should be threatened. You need to be threatened.
I agree. All right, well, I'm getting close to having that out. We're hitting the hour mark. We're at 56 minutes and 30 seconds
nice.
In. Let's go ahead and close it out. You got anything encouraging to say to the Patriots? Again, we got Simone, a watchful warrior. Get over to the channel. Amy, get over to her channel. Amy the Mod.
Oh, yeah.
She's doing that show with Watchful, the Patriot Lounge. I don't know if it's today. I believe it's like Fridays and Tuesdays.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, I know Amy the model let us know when the times are. Also, definitely, the Patriot Lounge is awesome. These guys all the mods. You guys are awesome out here. Putting a plug for the Patriot Fest flag retirement
Fest.
ceremony.
We hope to see you guys there,
next
folks.
year.
No agendas.
It's going to be huge.
It's
no agendas.
You hanging out with us. There's going to be a little
your
bit.
families.
There's going to be a little bit of drinking if you're into that. Nothing,
And
you know, a little bit of
cornholing. We're doing all kinds of music,
a little
family,
bit dancing, a little bit of eating, a little bit of hanging out.
music playing. There'll be some musicians out there playing the good fiddles, and if you're a
Bonfires
musician,
in the evenings.
Yes.
Cool
Oh,
skies, freedom, good down to earth event, flag retirement with the Boy Scouts or the Scouts of America. I am sorry, I can't keep up with all the changes, but the Scouts of America.
Yeah, so we're definitely excited about that, and let you guys know we're definitely, Mike and I, the team here, we're definitely behind the scenes. We are rocking and rolling, and so let you guys know we're pushing this through, and honestly, man, with Mike, we're just so blessed and so thankful. We get to work with not only veterans and patriots, that we get to do this in the flag retirement and really bring this to you guys, because it's going to be a pretty big event. And Mike's already working on the hardware side here recently about doing remote cameraing. We're taking this to the next level, you guys.
Folks. We're going to do a 2-day live stream. We're going to do a show Friday night, hopefully. Saturday, there'll be a last dance off. We hope to have something special. We recommend bring an instrument if you have one. If you play an instrument, you bring that. Whether however means
cowbell to the tambourine.
Yes.
We'll be doing giveaways. We'll be doing rafflings.
Yep. We'll have some swag for you guys. We want to meet all you. This is all this is. This first year is a meet and greet, hang out, break some bread together, maybe have a drink together, play some bags or cornhole together,
everything
bocce ball,
Yep.
whatever we can come up with out there. There's going to be camping, RVs, food, good time. There's a ride if you guys want to be involved in that ride. Again, the dates are coming.
Your
the
bikes
dates are
and
coming.
bring
It's
them
in
down.
August.
Yep.
August is 2020. A few months before the Trump /
election.
45 to the second power. All right. So,
and we're working in partnership with Steps for Vets. Basically it's with the local American Legion, and we'll promote this more. I just want to let you guys know that there's some big things happening here. The team is really excited at the Patriot Hour and even in our backup channel, and you guys are awesome, and know that it's going to be huge, and we're going to be making it as big as we can for you guys. So definitely lots of love. God bless all you guys. Thank you. I'm trying to get back on more on these live shows as as our children, the school year starts, things get back in, everybody scheduling, and so
we're talking about it, folks. Live every day, even if it's only for a half hour or 20 minutes, but is upwards of an hour, hour and a half, 2 hour block. We don't know. As time goes on and we get more, I can start going back and grabbing some good old school content to fill in, because there are times where it's like I could start the live, but instead of letting you guys go and say, I'll be back in an hour, just letting something play to keep you in, and then we come back. We'll see how it works out. We're going to start making some of these changes to get it going. We really need to ramp up the information, and plus with everything going on. So, all right.
Oh, Leah Mansfield, before we go real quick, the flag retirement Patriot Festival is going to be at the American Legion, Post 143 in Bristol, Indiana.
I believe it's 905 Maple Street.
Yes, we are working in partnership with the American Legion, and they are going to be covering the flag retirement ceremony. That's what their duties are, and so we're working in partnership with them as our Patriot Fest, because what a better way to promote freedom, our liberties, and the American way by retiring American flags that serve their country and need to be properly laid to rest. And so we're working in partnership. So as it gets closer, We'll be sending out little teaser videos of when, where, address, who to contact if you want to do. I mean, we'll start showering you guys with information when we know and we have things locked in. We're going to really get it on. So, like, again, God bless you guys and your family. Good things are happening, and things have already happened and that we can stand on.
Yes. All right. There you have it, folks. Always love it when Ben's in on the show, on studio. So we always take that to be a, and like he said, the schedules are getting back. We're going to be back. We got Woodman. We got Ben. Haven't heard from Scott too much. He's been very busy. I know the summer months. We'll see if he is, here in the next month or so, starting to wind down a little bit. Maybe we'll get back in studio. Folks, I want to just re-go over the August of 2020. Okay, August of 2020 is the Freedom Fest, the Patriot. It's a Freedom Ride, which is going to be the 9th annual Freedom Ride for the American Legion, American Bristol Legion Post 143. All right, this is in Bristol, Indiana. We're inviting all of you, come one, come all, and partake. Meet the Patriot Hour. Be part of it. We're going to do a live show with you guys. We'll talk to some of you. We're trying to get something lined up for the Friday night. Of course, we'll have something lined up for Friday night when you guys are arriving throughout the day of Friday, hopefully. A band set up outside. We're going to do a show beforehand, something, music. There will be a beer garden, of course, for the 2 days. Camping, there isn't any electric or any of that. It's pretty primitive. Otherwise, you guys are going to want to get hotel rooms in the area. There are tons of RV parks. There are official camping places, but you're more than welcome to camp right at our Legion, right on the ground, so you don't have to leave, but it's a little bit primitive. Other than there's restrooms, we got a pavilion with a restroom, so all of that. Okay, we're going to get more and more into that as time goes on. We're just talking about it in tidbits now as we do everything else. Okay, again, I'm Michael. This is a Patriot Hour. God bless and Godspeed to each and every one of you, and we'll see you back here on the next Patriot Hour update video coming real soon, folks. And please make sure you're subscribed to both channels. This is a Patriot Tech, the backup. If you're not subscribed here, make sure you do. When we go live, you'll get the alert. And we'll see you guys back here on the next Patriot Hour update video.
So it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive.
Fight for what's right.